when they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, thank you very much for your patience with us. You are listening to UFO Paranormal Radio Network and United Public Radio Network, or just UPRN as we call it. And this is the thing at the foot of the bed. I am one of your hosts, Lorilei Potvin. I also forgot to mention you're listening to 105.3 and 107.7 out of the beautiful city of New Orleans, and 105.3, like I said, out of Mississippi. Sorry, I'm a little discombobulated, guys. We were having quite a problem. So Dave could hear me. I couldn't hear him. We have tried everything. So I am on my phone. I don't usually produce on my phone. I know how to do it. So I'm a little discombobulated. Like I said, my name's Lorilei Potvin. I am a Canadian psychic medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, registered nurse. I'm also a budding animal communicator. I am well versed in the paranormal. I always say, didn't go looking for it. It found us. We shared our story in the, well, I think it's actually Nat Geo now, the Paranormal Survivor, season 4, episode 9. And I'm well versed in near-death experiences, having studied them for over 40 years professionally and personally, as well as having had one as a toddler myself. So if you guys like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends and family. Share the wealth. We've got over 40 hosts on the network now. We stream multiple shows daily, 7 days a week. And when we're not streaming live, what do we do? We have multiple shows. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think because I forgot to say something. I know I did. It's going to come to me. We stream multiple shows, like I said, daily, 7 days a week. And when we're not streaming live, the archive server kicks into the past 25 plus years. This network's been around and randomly picks shows from past shows and hosts, including present day as well as in the past. So, yeah, there really is something for everyone. And we're always adding new hosts. Now, if you guys want to watch us on TV, we do have our own TV channel. It's on Roku. You're going to go to the channel store and type in UFO space P as in paranormal. You're looking for a drop down list. We're about the third or fourth one down, and you're looking for UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio, and that's where you can watch us. What else do I want to tell you? I was going to tell you where you guys can comment. We got a lot of people commenting here. I'm going to try and set up Instagram for the third time tonight. Sorry, I got a notification. So that's one place you can watch the Angel Rock. I will have that going very shortly, as well as you can go to UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio either on Facebook or YouTube. We're streaming to David's YouTube channel, which is the Spirit Experience. We're also streaming to and you're streaming to your page, right, Dave?
Yes.
David Hanzel Medium. Or Medium
Yep.
David Hanzel.
Yep.
And then we're streaming to my YouTube, which is The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. We're streaming on Facebook to my public profile, which is Lorilei Potvin, on Canada's Most Haunted. And what else? So that's where you need to go if you want to comment and join our lovely group of people we're going to shout out and say hello to in just a moment. That's what I forgot to tell you guys. I have my own show here also on the network on Monday nights called The Angel Rock from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern as well. Let's see. So if you guys want to join and comment, though, 80% of our listening or our audience is listening only, and we do broadcast to every country in the world, believe it or not. So if you guys want to join, you have to go to those places I just mentioned, and then you can come join the fun and the conversation. Okay, I think I remembered everything, Dave. I'm going to try and set up Instagram while we're talking here.
Okay, and everybody who's in the room or watching, go ahead and give Lorilei some claps in there because Lorilei is the one who got it together. It was screwing us up. It was. I could hear everything. It said my mic was working, but no matter what Lorilei did on her end, it would not let her hear me. But
the only way it worked too was a phone. Like I tried the computer. We said, great. We finally figured out. We got what it was. And again, I couldn't. I'm still in the background, even though I shut the window. It won't. it will not let me take my second person out of here.
That's so odd. Was it Mish? I think it was Mish. You said, good old. Oh yeah, Mish said, good day, good old Mercury retrograde.
Well, it's the
But
Lionsgate portal today.
that's
That's why I
actually
don't usually send a message via all the platforms, but I did tonight because I was about to message Michelle, who's on up after us, Michelle DeRoche with the Outer Realm. And I thought, if I don't have to, there's got to be something going on with this. So we figured out. I got 3 devices ready here, anyways. If
yeah.
one picks out, I can always pull another one out.
She's always got protection. I mean, not protection, but you know what I mean. She's always got.
Yeah, I'm always ready.
I didn't mean it like that. Lorilei is ready to go. No, but she always had the extra phones and stuff. But anyway, my name is David Hanzel. I am a spiritual medium, animal communicator, channel, all kinds of stuff. Some of the same stuff.
You do everything I do.
Yeah, not everything Lorilei does. You can find out more about me on my website, thewhispertome.com. But we'll get into that later. Anyway, we also do have a Facebook page called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with Lorilei Potvin and David Hanzel. It is free to join that page. It is a private group for everybody. Most of the stuff that we show on the on our podcast, like if we show clips and stuff, Lorilei is kind enough to put them in the group for everybody. Ooh, you went dark. And
I'm here. I'm getting rid of some of these notifications.
Oh, you got it. So that's it. Please join ahead the group. You can share your spooky stories or regular stories or spiritual stories or anything you want to share with us in there. If you have ideas for the show or you want us to talk about something, we are more than happy to read it, listen to it. You can show us anything you want to show us, put it in the group if you want other people to see it as well. And that is good. Other than that, I think, do you want me to start going through and say hi?
Well, you know what we should say is happy Lionsgate to everybody.
Oh, yeah. Happy Lionsgate, you guys. If anybody doesn't know what Lionsgate is, it's basically a portal that opens up on 8/8 of every year on August 8th. It actually goes a week before and about a week after. But this is the day where it's like a portal. So if there's something you're wanting and truly needing and truly desiring, now's the time to put it into action. There's all different ways you can do it. You can look it up. And if you don't get to do it tonight, don't worry. You have almost a whole week, but it's a big portal. And tonight is an 888 portal. It's a 888 portal.
It's infinity.
It's because of the fact that it's 88 in 2024, the numbers reduced are another 8. So that's where you get the 3 8s. It's the Trinity. It's 8s. It's, what can I say? I don't always do it. I actually did do something tonight, just for the heck of it. And with the intention of seeing what happens.
I looked up a bunch of stuff too. I have a bunch of good videos for you. We're going to figure out how to do it on my phone here. We will figure. I could probably.
Okay, but otherwise, if you want me to, Lorilei had sent me a video earlier. We may or may not be able to play it, but I think it's.
Do you want me to send them to you? Do you know? I don't know if you can play them. You should be able to, but do you know how to do a screen share? Probably not, eh?
Not on this one. I might mess it up.
Yeah, so that's okay. We'll figure it out.
Even if you don't, we can just talk about it because Lorilei and I can describe stuff in great detail.
Well, I had a bunch of stuff that I talked to you about anyways that we were. I've got my other phone here, so we're going to look at that.
Well, if anybody who's listening, if they haven't heard, and I kind of heard something about this, but I forgot all about it. And it was weird that Lorilei even sent it to me, and I was like, I told her, I said, well, I'm going to watch it because it's a story from 1988, and it happened in South Carolina, and it's the legend of the lizard man of Scapor Swamp. I might not be saying the name.
Before we get started, let's say hi to everybody.
We'll tell you more about that in a minute. Go ahead, Lorilei.
Okay, so we got Diane Brighton, Julie Jean Bassett says hi to everybody. Mish, g'day. Good old Mercury retrograde, like you said. Just take a few deep breaths, Lorilei. You have no idea. You have no idea. I'm fine now. I don't want to wait too long because you guys are waiting for us and expecting us to be here. Plus, then it cuts into our time with you guys. So that's why we needed to get going. Hi, Jackie Lean. Let's see. Sandra Sharp, Kathy Hanley. We got Connie Martins, Nicole Ryan. Who else we got? I'm making sure if I haven't missed anybody. I'm not used to using. I used to use my phone all the time. Leslie 266. Sorry, I haven't got my glasses on. I hope I'm right about that. And then Dolly Lord. Um, well, you know what, sweetie? We usually don't do readings on this show,
Dolly,
so
I can help you real quickly,
well,
Dolly.
you should read the question then, Dave. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Dolly's question was, would anyone be able to tell me why my cat just died yesterday with no symptoms? And she just died. I am so sorry. That's
So am
got to be
I.
a shocker. Now I'm not doing it as an actual reading, but I'm chatting to my guys. And something about cats having an abnormal arrhythmia in their heart, and it's really kind of undiagnosable. And more cats have it than you'd think. There's also something with heartworm disease. Sometimes I have heartworm disease, and you don't see it, you don't catch it, and it's not your fault if you didn't catch it. Trust me. Cats, like birds and like dogs, sometimes will hide a sickness for whatever
Same as
reason.
even kids. I just seen a video yesterday. It was heartbreaking. A mom about their 11-week-old, and everybody kept telling them it was such an infant death syndrome, and it wasn't. The little one had had surgery as a newborn, and nobody picked it up. This little one was not sick, not showing any symptoms of being ill, and he went down for a nap and never woke up, and he had pneumonia that wasn't diagnosed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just have it sounds like it's I can't say the word feline cardiomyopathy. It has to do with the heart, and he's 12, which isn't old for a cat. It's a little more than teenager, of course, but it kind of feels like that. I can tell you this though, and I'm going to let Lorilei finish because there's some more people came in. Is he's fine. Okay, you need to know that they're absolutely fine. In fact, he had the heads up before they left. So I kind of feel like he kind of just crawled along on his belly for a minute and thought, well, I don't know if this is what he's thinking, but it's like, oh, it's time, and just kind of let loose.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't any. I don't feel any pain whatsoever. I feel like animals register pain differently anyway than we do, but he feels he's okay, and I'm so sorry, but that's what I can offer you.
I'm going to add something though. Too.
Okay,
I wouldn't
yeah.
be surprised, Dolly, if you still feel him and see him around you for a little while, because I think he's going to stay around for a little bit. Doesn't mean he hasn't crossed over.
No.
Okay, but it's interesting. I've lost dogs and I've lost cats, and I was just saying to a close friend of mine that we both know, so does Julie Jean Bassett, that my my animals are like my kids to me, and it's devastating when we lose, our pets. Julie Jean Bassett is an incredible animal communicator as well, who's here tonight. She's also an incredible shamanic practitioner. So what I wanted to add, though, I found with cats for some reason, now maybe it's just me, but I've heard it from other people, and I think all animals are incredible. I call them earth angels, right? You want to see an example of unconditional love, just have an animal. They're beautiful, beautiful creatures. But cats seem to kind of hang around. Like my son was so bonded, the one with severe autism, with his cat. It's not about me, but sharing this story, hopefully it will give some comfort, that our cat had an arrhythmia very young, and was really, it happened like in seconds, and we had to bring her into the vet, and my son had to say goodbye to her. And I've never seen a human so bonded with an animal before. I swear they talked to each other. Like he would call her, and she'd be meowing at him, and they'd chat back and forth. And my son was quite young. My son actually lost 70 pounds over it. That's how devastated he was. But our cat stayed around for a little bit. And I've had other animals that do that. So when you go to bed at night, where they kind of settle where they might with you at bed, you may feel it. We heard her too. And I kind of feel that that's what your baby's going to do for you.
Yeah.
Just let you know they're okay.
I would agree totally with Lorilei. My cat Charlie, whom I loved so much, and he died at 13, just out of the blue too. He was going to die, then he stayed for another 2 weeks, but then he just died. I had no clue what was wrong with him, and he was only 13. But my gosh, that cat hung out with me for years.
Yeah, they do.
Years, yeah. And it's like Lorilei said, animals really don't do the whole, ghostly thing. They can pretty much come and go when they please. So they do tend to hold on to us. And like everybody's saying, they're earth angels. So a lot of times if that cat knew it had to go and knew you're going to be upset, trust me, that cat's not leaving you until you are no longer upset. And then
well, plus I think too sometimes, and this is what my sons have been both raised with their mother doing this kind of work. And sometimes I think animals sometimes can even help from they do actually, but I think sometimes animals intuitively know, like I agree with everything David said, but sometimes they can even help more from the other side. It's kind of like their earthly mission is done, but they're going to continue their work, but from the other side, if you will.
Yeah. And what Julie Jean Bassett says, because I communicates animals too. And what she said, I have that same belief she did. And that is that cats are protectors on the spiritual plane and dogs are protectors on the physical plane. Mm-hmm. They really are.
Yeah.
Cats have this weird thing about them that dogs don't do, and dogs have this weird thing about them that cats don't do. On the physical plane, a dog will literally pull you out of danger. He's just there to do that, where a cat will just look at you and go, I'll see you on the other side, because they're like, but they are.
My cat thinks he's a dog. Like my dog has been being really picky about eating. Like when I had the grand puppies here last weekend, everybody was eating twice a day. There was cookies. Like, I'm grandma, I can spoil, right? And so what did I hear from my son? The dogs won't eat their food. I said, because you don't put all the little goodies in there that I do. But my dog has not been eating. So my partner, Del, gave her some leftover rice last night, and she was kind of like, I might eat it. So my big trick is, Socks is going to eat it if you don't eat it. And she still kind of looked at me. So I said, Socks. And he just came right like a dog. Just, and of course, then she wanted to eat the rice. But
she says not. Julia Bassett says not always, David. You are correct. I made it more as a joke because cats are like that. My cat Charlie, he hated my older brother. He hated my roommates I lived with. He literally, if they came near me, he would run down that hall, and he didn't even have claws. This was back in the 90s when I got him, and they took his claws, although he couldn't have them. But he would slap people so hard you could hear it on their shoe. So he was an attack kitty. And
I've heard of that. Del was watching this girl's apartment that had a cat, and that cat would sit on top of the fridge. It was by the door, and Del said it practically tried to kill him every time he came in the house. Like he was an attack watchdog cat.
My brother, just to talk more about cats, because this is funny when you brought that down. I totally know exactly what you're talking about, Lorilei. My brother and his girlfriend back in Milwaukee years ago had a cat, and they had this. When you came up the steps to go in their apartment, there's a long, long hallway, and there's a big, huge couch at the end of the family room. The cat was a Siamese cat, and when you walked up, he would just literally jump off the couch and run down that hall and jump with his claws out. That they named her Witch. That has nothing bad to do with witches. They just named her Witch because when I told them, take out the W and replace it with another
I
letter.
know. I was thinking that.
But that cat he was mean. And another thing that cat would do, you'd sit on the couch and he would come sit on your lap and you could pet him and he'd be all cool. But you know what happened when he was done with you petting him? He didn't just get up and walked off. He took both claws, stuck them into your hand and bit you and then ran. I was like, really, cat? Really?
Cats do that. Let's say hi to a few people. Rob Roy, I checked. I did not see your name here before. So hi. He goes, it's okay. I get missed all the time, Lore. And I'm glad this is helping you, Dolly. We're glad you're here tonight and that you shared, that's part of the beautiful thing with the group that, everybody kind of hangs out here. We at everybody's shows, and we love having y'all here because it's kind of like one big family. So we've got, hang on, Michelle Crane. Hi, everybody. We have Michelle Wilfong. I know that. I saw her name. She said hello. Let's see who else we got here. I saw somebody else. I'm going through. Did I miss anybody else? Oh, Leslie, I seen. She said, thank you both for your compassion and empathy. And she said, Dolly said, oh my God, thank you. I am losing my mind. No, we're glad that you're here. Rhonda Harris is here, and we know Rhonda Harris.
There we go.
Because Rhonda Harris is Howie Odell's co-host on the Orion Effect. I think you're coming on. Are you not, Rhonda, next Monday on the Angel Rock? I know it's very soon. I have not checked my list, but I know, yes, I knew you were coming on in August, close to my birthday. So my birthday's next next Thursday. We celebrated David's birthday in May, and now you get me. We both had our birthdays on a Thursday. So
mine was April on a Thursday. Yeah.
Okay, so Julie says, I've had cats that were protectors on the physical plane too. Yeah.
Yep.
Michelle Plummer says, hello. We got a lot of Michelles. We're going to have to be careful with our Michelles tonight. Diane Brighton said, I haven't got my glasses on. I can't see my phone. I had a feral cat as a kid, wandered everywhere. Every time I was sent to my room, the cat would appear, even though he lived on the streets. That's interesting. And now we got a smile on Dolly's face. That's good.
Sometimes when I see like a stray cat walking, there's a couple in my neighborhood. I don't know if they're strays. They're all healthy looking and they just kind of hang out. They love the forest. Whenever I see them, I have two of them. I see them walking by themselves on the road. That song, You Belong to the City, starts playing in my head. You belong to the city. Dear. Yeah, it's just kind of such a little something you'd see on TV.
Oh, Rob says now he feels all warm and fuzzy. Well, I'm glad we could make you feel that way, Rob. And Connie says, my cat Hunter reminds me of my cat Tiger. I find myself calling him Tiger because I feel she is around him. I had Tiger for 23 years and she passed away in 2015.
Holy cow, 23 years.
That's a long time.
God bless you for that cat.
I was going to say, I'm sorry for your loss, but you know what? I am positive that my cat Ox is my cat Jessie that I had when I was in my later teen years. They look identical, they act identical, and they're both, the energy is the same. None of my cats, the cats that I've had, my son has the cats now, but when I was in my home, we had more cats, and none of them bite or scratch, or they're just, I think it's because they were raised with dogs though, so I think they kind of think they're dogs.
Oh, yeah, I get it. We have my mom's dog. My mom has a new little Yorkie poo, and she turns out, she looks exactly, Molly looks exactly like Toto. Toto is my dog that got killed by the other two dogs. And he looks just like her. And my mom said, maybe it's Toto come back. And I said, no, I don't think they look quite similar. And you know what? I didn't thought about it. Even if it was, they would go through the same forgetfulness and forget it anyway. But I kind of feel that the personality traits are enough to remind me of Toto. So I was like, that's cool. I don't care whether it's Toto. It might not. Don't care.
I think that animals also reincarnate to us if they're not finished for the reasons why they came to us. I always say you don't get the pet that you want necessarily. You get the pet that you need. And they don't always come back in the same species either.
They don't. Yeah, a lot of people, think that. Yeah, I don't think it's Toto, but I think it's enough to remind me of Toto. I talk about Toto all the time. So,
hi, Ruth Weaver. I wanted to say hello to Ruth. Okay, where are we? Joanna Garfey McNally. She goes, she loves this show. Thank you. We appreciate that. Retro Disney Renaissance. Greetings, all. We're glad to have you here tonight. Okay, so Michelle Crane has a question. Can cats reincarnate as dogs? Yes, because my cat that passed a couple months ago had the same type of personality as my past dog, but something to also think about. Because I almost don't necessarily, you'll know, okay, you will know it was your baby. But the thing is, you may have got a dog that picked up many of the energetic traits of your cat that you had to continue working with you to be able to finish, because they are part of our guides, our guide team here on Earth. I truly believe that.
Yeah, to me, your pets are your guides in physical form. Because they really are. And I agree with Lorilei. That does happen. I mean, not saying that pets don't come back to us in my lifetime, but you got to, when people go, can I ask my dog to come back? And it's like, why? Do you want him to have another life? Maybe going through, maybe
I don't think that can happen. I think, though, that if your animal has contracted with you before you've incarnated into this present lifetime, and they're there for a reason, right? Our animals usually have shorter lives than humans. I have seen that before and also picked it up, say, when doing a mediumship reading or what have you. Does it happen all the time? No. And the thing is, you don't need us to tell you if your pet has come back to you or not. If you believe that that is your pet reincarnated and it gives you comfort and you're not hurting anybody with it, you go with what you believe. You knew them best. They were your fur baby. That's how I feel.
I agree with Lorilei. It's whatever you feel. If you know it and you think that's fine. That's perfect right there. You're not crazy. That's just perfect. And to answer the other question, Julie Bassett has also answered it. Cats can reincarnate as dogs and vice versa. Animals also go through, from what I know, my belief, animals go through an evolution just like human beings do, because we're not the same human beings we were 2,000 years ago. We're a little different. Animals do the same thing. So I guess animals could, I don't know if a mouse can have like a first time mouse animal life here and then come back as an elephant. I don't know. I mean, maybe.
But I think it can, because I think we've got free will and we limitless on the other side. Like Julie,
just because we have free will, but
let me finish. I agree with Julie that she says you will know at a soul level, and that's where we all are at a soul energy when we go back, right? And again, I could be completely wrong.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
I always say we're not going to know all the answers till we go back home ourselves. But to me, if we are soul energy and we're truly a part of each other, like the soul is, all of us are completely a part of each other. And that's where I was going with the free will. I guess if a mouse really wanted to come back as an elephant and have that experience, could they?
Well, they probably could, but it's kind of like if we would say, I'm going to come back as something that I totally know nothing about. That might be
the perfect reason to want to do it then, right? You want to learn about it. You want to have the experience.
Well, it depends. Yeah, I guess. Animals they can interspecies change, but so can human beings. I do know for a fact, though, it is very rare that we come back to this particular physical life as an animal.
And that's your belief, and
that's my belief. It's my belief for my NDE. It's my belief for my guides. It's my belief from research, but it is just my belief.
I don't know. I've told this story about my son, my eldest son, that had a past life that he came back when he was 14. One of his friends' moms had asked him if they wanted to do a past life thing. I didn't know about it till he came home, and he told me all about his previous life as a wolf, and what it was all about. And who am I to say he didn't have it? There, and Julie just said animals have free wills just like humans. To me, logically, and again, David and I don't always agree, and that's okay. You take what resonates with you and do your own research. But if we are all soul energy and we are all connected from the tiniest grain of sand up to the most giant piece of whatever, right? And we go on forever and we're limitless, right? I don't know. To me, and we don't always come back as human beings either. Like you could go to other planets.
That's what I mean. I'm talking about this particular physical. I'm not talking about, because like you said, that's absolutely true. You can come back as anything, another animal. I saw my little doggy through his eyes after she passed away. So I guess you could say I was put into that to see it, or she allowed me to see it. The only reason I say this is because, and this is my belief, after doing tons of readings on people who would say, we have this new puppy and it's my mom. I'd be like, okay.
I understand.
You know what I'm talking about? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about we can't do it. Yeah, we can do it.
I completely get where you're coming from. Okay. I agree with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
And that's a delicate thing to
it's very delicate
about, because they're grieving, and if it's giving people comfort. But again, I guess maybe it could be possible, but to me, I know exactly what you're saying now. Like
I did tell that the reading when I did tell her, because this is what I felt that come through. And no, mom sent the dog, but and the cool thing is the mom provided proof, because the mom that I was speaking to actually told me where she got the dog. And I said it, and I thought, this is just a shot in the long. And she goes, yeah, that's exactly where we got it. Like, good. Not mom
so that would be more believable to me too, because we can do more from the other side. Just like I was mentioning about the cat that had passed Dolly, that sometimes our animals can do more from the other side, that their mission, if you will, is completed here. And I know I'm calling it a mission. It's
no, I get it. I get it.
Easiness sake. But sometimes they can, and I know that gave my son a lot of comfort. And it was Mocha, his cat. He never wanted another cat. because he loves cats. And now we have socks, and he loves socks. So it was very healing for him. Now we have Mish says, I'm going to come back as Bigfoot. They seem to
I love
have
it.
theory. But Michelle had a question again. I don't say again. We're glad. We want you to ask
We want you
questions.
to have them. Yeah.
When our fur babies pass, do most of the other animals in the family see them as a physical form or an energy? I believe energy. What do you think, Dave?
Yeah. Here's how I look at that question. Just because I can say it all I want, I can tell you what my guides tell me, and my guides tell me just what Lorilei said. They do see them as energy. They don't see them as the full. They recognize their soul. They don't need to have the physical to see them. So yeah, I do believe they normally see them as energy. But like I said, it's the animals know things differently. But even as a medium, and Lorilei and Julie Jean Bassett, we'll all tell you the same thing. When a spirit comes towards us for like a reading or whatever, we can feel them. We just know we know it's a man, we know it's a woman. Sometimes we know what they look like if we can see them. But literally, they're coming in and putting an energy into us and showing us the energy, and then we are interpreting that energy to help who's ever sitting in front of us. So I'm going to say, like Lorilei said, my guides, sorry, long answer. My guides say the same thing. They say, yeah, they see them as an energy because they don't need to see them in physical form. They already recognize them.
Sure, Michelle, dump on us. She goes, okay, have a great show. I have work. Think of the money. It's Friday over. It's Friday over in Australia. And she just opens a great can of worms about she wants to come back as Bigfoot. Yeah. I do want to say hi to somebody here. Or Michelle. Wait, there was something I saw here. Marissa Barreal said hi, everyone. So I wanted to make sure. If I've missed anybody, please shout out hi, and I will definitely call. I'm not used to using my phone. We like you guys to feel like you are part of the show. That's why David and I do the show. We love when you ask questions. We love when you put your 2 cents worth in too, because that's all it is, right? We're all talking about the paranormal, and none of us went to school for it. We're like Dave and I have always said, we're not experts. We're giving you what we have, what we receive from our own team and guides, what we've had in life experience, and what we've experienced in the work that we do. Right, Dave?
That's it. And that's it. And everybody has it, you know? Where are we going? Mish. Okay, bye, Mish. Mish gives us aliens and all that. So
she gives us all of these awesome comments. She does. And it's Friday over there already. It's TGIF. And Michelle, or I call her Michelle. She's Mish in the chat. Michelle's birthday, your birthday's the day before mine next Thursday, right? It's Wednesday. But when you pop into Thursday, right, it'll already be by, so you can celebrate still with me if you think about it online, right? Because we're 12, 13 hours behind you. So yeah. I always say she's almost like my birthday twin. Or anybody else. I think Rob Roy, if I remember correctly, I know Rob Roy. I think somebody in his family has an August 15th birthday, and I won't say what or anything, but I remember that. And so happy birthday to your family members or anybody celebrating. Hi, Henry. And the final plan Z. Hi.
Welcome. I had to tie a little of my hair up. It was all over the place.
Oh, God. I was on the phone. I got ready early today, and I talked to our mutual friend. Julie Jean Bassett knows her. David knows her. She's one of my closest friends, Leanne. She's been on the Angel Rock before, and we've been trying to connect and talk. So I got everything ready, and then I got off the phone at 6 because we don't start till 7. And then, of course, Lionsgate decided to kick in and mess with our audio. That's why I'm on this little tiny screen. It was either that or you didn't get us tonight.
Yeah, either that or you got a rerun. But it's But you know, you might get a rerun one day. We don't know this, but so far we haven't had to do a rerun in over a year and a half.
I don't know what we're going to do. I think it's October 3rd, and we'll see. More than likely, we'll be doing a show. We will see. And the reason why is because Carrie Lynn Shellhorn, who has a fantastic show here on the network on Fridays called the Spirit Switchboard, is coming up for a paranormal conference that's being put on here over the weekend. Right. And I'm speaking at it as well. We have Shane Pittman, Jeff Belanger, is it History's Most Haunted? That team's coming up. There's Chris Rutkowski, a whole bunch of people. But she's coming up Thursday. early, and I finally get to meet her in person. We're
Oh, there you
friends,
go.
so.
Well, you know what? You should go enjoy that and have a good
Well,
time.
you know what I was
Maybe
thinking too? I haven't even asked you, so I'm going to put Dave on the spot. Maybe if she's not too tired, we'll pull her on here and she can join us from her hotel, or we'll meet her at
That's
her
all
hotel
fine
and do it.
too. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all fine too. It'll
Mhm.
be that one exception we make because it's fun. It's fun to
Excuse
have
me.
people like
Yeah, we
that
don't
on.
usually do guests on here, but we have had Carrie Lynn on, and she's had us on her show. So we might do that. I haven't talked about. We're not in fall yet.
Yeah,
Almost there, but
we're not there.
we'll figure it out. There'll be a show
So,
somehow, some way. More than likely, Dave and I have not missed, knock on wood. So we'll be here because we love
well,
doing this.
now earlier there was a good segue earlier. You didn't even know you were doing it. You said you wanted to reincarnate back as Bigfoot. And we were going to talk about some cryptids tonight or something. And if you guys are up for that, ask any questions. We don't know everything, but Lorilei, as I said earlier, sent me a video about something that happened in South Carolina, which is just right next to me. And it was about the lizard man. It was Skateboard Swamp in South Carolina. And I thought, now, she told me all the background of it. And you know, obviously that's something hard to believe. Although when you read into it and you go through it, this was 1988, and there is a lot of hoopla and stories that went out about it. And I mean, people, and the guy passed the lie detector test and all these things. And even, did you listen to his actual story, Lorilei? It's because
I
it
listened to
makes
a whole
it,
bit,
it doesn't embellish it. It's like, it sounds like a real thing could happen. Of course, some people tried to say it was some fox who chased a car and all. I'm like, are you crazy? That's not even, I would say that if I didn't believe it.
well, I wanted to share though where this came from. You guys, you got to check this channel out. Now they had a previous channel. I forget what it was called. I'm trying to look for I screenshotted it, and I don't think it's called DNA_rope was the channel, but
Yeah.
they've now gone on to this different channel because it does have some good stuff though. The one that was how I found this was a couple weeks ago doing research for the show, and this one today I found. I didn't send it, Dave, but it's called The Time Traveler Behind the Dawdleston Messages. I had never heard this story.
Never heard that one. Is it good? Is it good? I never heard that.
Fascinating. So the
Really?
regular channel now is called Reports of Paranormal Events, or ROPE, ROPE. They have a Discord, and it's in their like if you go to YouTube and their links. And I'm telling you, I popped in there today. Such a nice group of people, really, really supportive and awesome. So you guys got to check them out. I told them I'm giving them a huge shout out tonight because really
Oh,
great
good.
channel. This is their, I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys will be able to see it, but this is
Kind of.
see their,
Oh, yeah.
background. They cover conspiracy. Oh, I don't know what came up now.
Yeah,
Something.
it was, and you know what? You know what? And you know me with YouTube videos, I just get annoyed. I like the way he covered it. I like the
Because
way
he
they covered
covers
it.
the people, the naysayers too, which
Yeah,
is good.
yeah, exactly. He just covered everything. But anyway, you guys, I also looked up a couple, and you can find it. They actually have, because of this happening, and because that's how real everybody thought it was, or if it is, or what it was. But it's a local legend now, and they have the Lizard Man Festival, and they have it at Comic-Con, and they have all kinds of things.
I did not know that. I'm glad
Yeah,
you
and
said that.
here I found a little bit more, which is even cooler, Lorilei. It was 1988, and the gentleman's name was Christopher Davis, who saw this. But there's been a lot of sightings since then. Many people have claimed to see it. Now, we know some of them are seeing it for a different reason, but there were people who are seeing it who have no outside reason to want to report this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, some people would rather not talk about it because who's going to believe me? You know
what freaked me out about this story, though, that they noted? And
What?
we'll post this link, you guys, for you people listening in our group, the thing at the foot of the bed. I will do that. If I don't get it done tonight, it will get done tomorrow. I almost always post in the group. That's why it's there. That they said a good portion of the people, and it seemed males, that have seen this lizard man all died under strange, mysterious circumstances, usually within about 10 years of the sightings. That Christopher is dead, the one you were talking about that took the lie detector test. Somebody broke into his home. He had a family. It was about 10 years after the sighting, and he was, nobody else was hurt. Somebody broke in and took a bang bang, we'll call it, with being on YouTube, and took his life. Then there was another gentleman they were talking about, one of the first earlier gentlemen, and they've gone through. They don't know what this is. But the other thing I'm going to add, he said as the newer sighting, somebody took a video and somebody took a photo, right? 2015, and I think there was 2 sightings at the same time of the lizard man. And they said, we'll give you a link to see the pictures and videos. If you follow the link off the rope channel, but the link I'm going to post in the group, don't get all, because when I saw it, I went, are you kidding me? When you see this picture they've got for the newscast looks like some guy in a lizard suit. That's not the real pictures in the videos. That's what they use for a frickin' thumbnail.
Yeah, for the thumbnail. Yeah, that was kind of a mistake. There was another interesting thing, and then I got to tell you, let's go down this rabbit hole. When you said some of these people, like who see like lizard men or cryptids, and they disappear later on, I've often wondered this. I can't get a straight answer, and it's even if they gave me the answer, I still for some reason think I would waffle about it. You know what I mean? How sometimes you don't even trust the answers that they give you. You're like, really? No. But anyway, what if some of these cryptid sightings, if they saw this cryptid or say like a lizard man, not saying the lizard man is not a lizard alien type of thing, but if it was some kind of alien thing, what if they didn't really die, but they just took them and it made it think like they were dead. So they're living out the rest of their life.
And they made them become a lizard too. They bit them or something and they joined the clan. That's why there's
it could be anything. What I'm saying, it's not so strange because if you look at it, like I had looked into it, Lorilei studies NDEs and I've studied NDEs and I've had an NDE and so has Lorilei. And, although I believe it's a big reset, there is another reality where I didn't make it back or I didn't come back. So there's that reality. So I thought, what if one of these creatures, they're like, this person just can't be roaming around the earth, letting what we go. So instead of actually offing them, it's like, it seems like they were offed and then they go someplace else. I don't know. I just thought it was a cool rabbit hole to go down. I don't know if that's true.
It could be because if you listen to the legend, how it started, and I guess the town that this is showing up mainly in was Straw Hill or something, but it used to be called back in the day, believe it or not, something along the lines of Straw Whore, and then it became Straw Hoe and whatever it is now. And the narrator went into, because there were a lady of the night of
yes, it used to be called it used to be called the I actually got it here. I think it was, they used to call it the Escape, rhymes with more, swamp. And then it got shortened. And
you can say horror. You can say
we can. Okay, it was called the Escape Horror Swamp. And the reason it was called Escape Horror Swamp is because it started out, I guess, in the town, like you said, was a strawberry field or something like that. Strawberry fields forever. There was a whore, and they kind of tried to run her out of town. And when they ran her out of town, they sent her into the swamps, and she was never found.
Well, I think that's where she took off to, wasn't it? They didn't give her much choice. They ran her. You're right. Ran her in. You're right.
Yeah, ran her into the swamp, and then they never found her again. So they started calling it not the whore who escaped in the swamp, but they called it the Escape Whore Swamp. And then
that's what it was. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and then it got shortened to Skateboard.
That's what it is. Yes. Yeah. I watched so many things. I watched on this from these 2 channels. One of them, like I said, this time travel story was like mind blowing. And then this alien abduction that was actually positive, that he remembered. And he actually liked it so much. He felt like it was a couple months, like quite a few months had passed. And he'd only been gone 2 hours, and people witnessed this. Like these people, they're they're probably now husband and wife, but they were fiancés. And she's the researcher, Amy, and Damon is the narrator. And they claim they only cover what are claimed to be true stories, but they also do some debunking, and they give you they were talking, say, about this swamp thing
Mhm.
that, because people are finding hair too. Like, could it be Bigfoot? Is it
Yeah.
fake? Like, what is this? So I'm going to read Michelle Crane's comment. She said, I believe in a lot of these things as I think they come through some kind of dimension, maybe. But yes, we agree. We've talked
Yeah,
about
we
this.
talked
But
about
like
that.
David said, and I got to give it some credence, or what if they're like taking people and mutating them into fellow creatures? Because this story is quite old.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
it's
I don't mean that they might not necessarily be making them into a lizard. I mean, who knows? That could be possible. But
well,
I'm
I guess
saying,
lizards live a long time, right?
yeah,
Like, yeah, so
maybe they pull through another dimension because they can't just be known right now. I don't know. Instead of offing someone, who knows? It's fun to think about, though.
I don't know. That was what I was thinking. I don't know if it's right or not, but how does something go on that long? And I think they're seeing more than one, because some people are reporting a green creature. Some are reporting brown. All of them have
Maybe
glowing
it's
red eyes. Run
maybe it
35
is.
miles. Oh, just one sec, Dave. I was just going to
Okay.
throw in
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry.
35 miles an hour it can run up to. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
I was going to say, and I'm not just a joke, but kind of a joke, but maybe it is. What if the lizard man is like Bigfoot with alopecia? I mean, it doesn't have hair. I mean, maybe that's what Bigfoot looks like underneath. It's like, it's not an ape at all. It's a lizard with a lot of hair. I mean, I don't know. I'm a little making fun of it, but it is true. We don't know.
Or how does it go on that it comes from a woman? And like, these people had this creature, like this Christopher that is now no longer with us, was 17 when this happened. He'd worked midnights at McDonald's. He's driving down this dark road going home, and they said midnights. I'm positive they did overnight, but it was still dark when he was going home. And he's down this long dark road, and all of a sudden he gets a blowout with his tire. So apparently he gets out, looks, yeah, tire's blown, and he thinks, should I walk home? He's dead exhausted. And he goes, no, I'm miles from home. So he gets everything out to change the tire. As he's putting the jack away, this thing jumps out of nowhere, and he sees it, and he describes it with 3 fingers and claws and glowing red eyes. I think he said it was green. So he jumps in his car, and this thing jumps on top of his vehicle.
No.
And it's like, it's all scratched up, and people are getting vehicles, like things like this happening. The sheriff of the town, I guess, was trained by the FBI and has got all this experience. Even he doesn't know what it is. So where does it come from? A portal?
Yeah,
I don't know.
And you have to ask yourself, I've always asked this question, like Bigfoot, lizard man, Mothman, anytime there's a cryptid and they put man behind it, so they say like it's a dog man. This is what I have always wondered. Is their soul while they're here, is it more animal or is it more man? Like, if they call it lizard man, is that man thinking like a human in some sense, or is it thinking like an animal? That's what I always wondered.
You know what I thought when I was listening to the Christopher story? Apparently you had a bag of fillet of fish on the seat next to him driving home. How do you know the guy just didn't want your fillet
of fish? Yeah, that's, who knows? Maybe that lizard man might have a totally different story when the news comes after him. He's like, I was really hungry and I was going on the road and I smelled filet of fish. I love McDonald's and I just don't have enough cash. And so all I tried to do was take it. We could have had this done and over with, but no.
They're not going to take me through the drive-through. This was like filet of fish on the seat.
Yeah, but who knows? I mean, I'm not making light of it, but you have to make light of it. But I don't know if all these things are real or not. But I will say, yeah, there is an alien. Yeah, they're
hello,
reptilian.
Woo Riders from Woo Riders DG. Hello from Florida. Hello from Canada and North Carolina. And we're broadcasting out of New Orleans.
Yeah. Julie Jean Bassett says there is an alien race that are called lizard people, so I've heard. My very, very first encounter, which was when I was about 5-6 years old, it was real, not like in the third eye, not anything else. It was literally standing there, was a reptilian looking being. And that's why I'm always a defender. I get mad when everybody says reptilians are bad. It's like, well, I don't know what you're seeing or what I'm seeing. Maybe I didn't see that species.
I think it's like everything. If you're existing on this 3D plane on Earth, you're going to have both. You always have a yin to a yang. So I think you're just like people.
Yeah.
If somebody
Well,
had a bad experience with a human being, oh my God, human beings are terrible. Well, not
yeah.
all
Well,
human
there
beings
are
are terrible.
but if you go back and look through like Palladians, there are no bad Palladians. There's only good. But
And
I'm
yes,
just,
you do. Final
but I
plan.
will say, I will say this though, is what you're alluding to is you did say a key thing. Existing on the physical plane, there's going to be duality. That's what the physical plane is about. It's polarization. It's the law of polarization. There's always a good and the evil. You can't know the good without the evil.
Yep.
But I said that dude was very emotionless and very dry, but was totally fine. And so I don't think though that was a lizard. I don't think though he was a cryptid. I think, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder,
I don't know what it was, right?
Yeah.
A cryptid to me, basically, just like the paranormal. The paranormal is anything that we haven't been taught to think is normal, right?
Yeah.
Or regular everyday life. And the same thing with a cryptid. It's anything that I think isn't an animal, reptile, or bird or human being that's unexplainable, that we can't explain where it's come from. It's not really a regular part of our culture in the way of anywhere where you live, right? Because we're
Yeah.
getting so many different things. Then you get into tulpas.
Yep. And
Like,
yeah, there's a billion things.
so the final plan Z says in Arizona we have UFOs in the sky, and boy, do you have UFOs
You
or
do.
UAPs as they're now called sometimes. You sure do, and I've seen many
Sometimes
pictures and videos.
Sometimes I think Arizona has the big old portal right in the middle of it. I
Sedona's
really
around
do.
there.
Yeah,
Sedona, though, right?
Sedona. And I think, yeah, Sedona is like, I haven't been.
That's on my bucket list.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, a lot of people go to Sedona just for that. There's in just about every state, you'll find a spot that has something. But as Arizona, another reason that I thought of, well, I've asked before, just my guides, not actual aliens, but my guides, and I said, why are there so many over there that are seen all the time? And he's a smart aleck, but he said less lights. I'm like, oh, that makes sense because of the fact that there's a lot more people. But he was just telling me, because when the sky's not contaminated, you'll be able to find out how much is actually really out there.
I also think there's military bases and things around that area, including
Yeah,
in Mexico. But yeah, or maybe they all just want to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
I know it's not in Arizona. I know my states is not in Arizona, but all that area in that neck of the woods around the US in that area. And I know that Arizona is not Nevada. Okay. I do know that, even though I'm Canadian.
No, I know you know, but they did fly over Vegas. That wasn't long ago.
I saw that New Year's Eve, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. So Jennifer M says, hi, Jennifer M. She says, Sedona's on my bucket list too. Maybe we'll have to get a whole crew of us and we can all go as the footies. Isn't that what we're called? Or the thongers at the foot of the bed?
But we won't be going by foot because that's too far to walk.
Oh, definitely. Michelle, you do have a point, but maybe not. Let's talk about this. She goes, I think if they were really going to seriously harm us, wouldn't they have done it already? I will say yes, especially when it comes to extraterrestrials and UFOs and stuff. And like I said, I just listened to a fascinating on this channel. I'm not trying to push this channel, but if they're really like, they put the proof in the videos and they show you both sides. Like maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But the guy that claimed to get abducted, that wanted to go back and asked them to go back, because when he came back, he thought it was months and he'd been gone 2 hours and people witnessed his abduction, if you will. Mm-hmm. When he came back, he said he had a telepathic, almost psychic link with the ETs, and he went underwater into a base, and they showed him, according to him, this was in the 70s, there was a base in the Pacific, a base in the Atlantic, and I kept re-listening, but I think he might have said in the Antarctic Ocean. I wasn't sure it's the Arctic Ocean.
I'm sure there's something in Antarctica.
Anyways,
I don't.
He asked to get abducted again and asked if he could bring a partner, and his wife was taken along. And I'm telling you, this was a fascinating story back in the 70s.
Cool. I love stories like that because you just never know.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially
So,
back
but,
in the
oh, I
70s.
know why I said all that. I just realized because they had also said, which I truly believe, that they have been around for thousands and thousands of millennia before human beings were ever here. So
Yeah.
I agree. If they were going to hurt us, they probably would have by
Yeah,
now.
I have that same agreement. And then what I've been told, or probably what I lean towards in my belief system too, is that we really have very little to fear from other places, really, very little. I mean, I'm sure there's bad ones out there, but the reason is we're very new yet. You might think that we've been around here for whatever, but Earth is actually very new as far as a
Yeah, my
inhabited
guides tell me
planet.
that too.
Yeah,
And
it's very new.
ET
He said
always
that,
looks at us and says they're a young race. And
yeah.
I know a propensity for violence and things
Yeah,
like
because
confounding,
that's
quite
exactly
confounding to
because
them.
they always had told me that they've evolved so much. They've evolved beyond violence. If they're going
Always.
to take over, they're just going to take over. There's not going to be any violence involved. Just like, nope, it's ours. Bye. That's it.
And there are incidences now on the Angel Rock. I haven't had him in a long time, but Dan Willis, and he's put a documentary out there. I think you can find it on Rumble, and it's why the secret space program will still stay secret or something to that effect. Now, he had talked about this many times, and they had believed that disclosure was going to happen on May 6, 2002. And they had all testified at the New York Press Club. There were admirals, generals. Dan was former military. He's a fascinating guy. He's worked with Marcel Vogel. And if you don't know what a Vogel crystal is, look them up. They're fantastic. Anyway, I know you do, Dave. And then he had witnessed something himself. So there was about 20 of them, and they all went with their proof. And they were sworn in front of all the major news agencies about and they brought their proof to prove the existence of at least, I think it was 57 types of extraterrestrials. And then what happened was they thought, oh God, the news is here. They're going to tell everybody. And all that happened, like the last 15 seconds of the news broadcast was, some people believe there's extraterrestrials, like laughing and giggling, making it a joke. So these are fascinating. Anyways, he took all that press coverage and made like a little documentary about it. It's quite fascinating to watch.
Yeah, I think disclosure has already begun, but it keeps getting sidetracked. And you know what? I'm okay. I'm patient.
So wait, I'm going to go back a little. Julie Jean Bassett said, most definitely something going on in Antarctica. Oh
Yeah,
gosh, I wish
I
we could do
did,
a
yeah.
show on that. And Connie said, I have thought the same thing. Wouldn't we have heard a lot of bad things happening to people? Mm-hmm. Kathy Hanley Little, we are the infants of the universe. Mm-hmm. And then Contessa, has anyone watched the TV show Sugar? It's a great show about this type of thing. I haven't, but now I'm count me interested. You have to tell us more about it.
Yeah,
Have you, Dave?
you know what? Do you guys want to hear something? Did you ever hear this before? It's an old saying that if you go into another room and you forgot why you went there, they said, what if on your way to the room there was an alien in there and he had to erase your mind so you wouldn't remember him? And I was
I've
like,
heard of that.
God,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've heard of that.
And it's just, don't know if it happens, but I'll tell you this. Just because of what I went through, and Lorilei can attest to this as far as losing time after sleeping, or knowing that you've been someplace for some odd reason, or ending up driving and all of a sudden close your eyes, next thing you're driving someplace else or parked like miles away. That
You
definitely
know
happened.
that happened to me. I blinked
Yeah,
my
and I
eyes
know it's
and
happened to you. Yeah. And so, and I've known other people that's happened to too. So I have people that I know who have no stake in making crap up. That's literally what happened, because I've had the same thing and I didn't really believe it until I had a while in one of my houses I lived in. And it's back when I was really doing a lot of investigating on UFO stuff. This is like back, like right around when we connected again, when we were talking about aliens. I was literally going to sleep and I would wake up totally awake, just get up and be like, not like I just woke up, but like, where was I just now? I was just someplace I know I was, and I just can't remember where it was. So it's odd. Am I crazy? I don't know. Who cares?
no,
But
you know
it's
what?
very
Because the other night,
interesting. Yeah.
my partner Dell, I was outside in the backyard and it was nighttime, and the dog was with me, and I hear this guy yelling. And I think, oh my God, it's like someone coming in the backyard. Like it was later at
Mhm.
night. And I come inside and I hear my partner, he's going to love me telling people this, but he's yelling, get away from me. If you come near me any more of my stuff, I'm going to use a hammer on you. And I'm going, oh my God, like he was sleeping, right?
Mhm.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, like facetiously thinking, oh my God, was he just overtaken by a demon? Like, what is this? I've never heard him yell like this. And it went on for about 5 or 10 minutes, just intermittently. And I guess it didn't traumatize me because I forgot about it the next day until last night we were talking. I didn't even get a chance to tell you this. So we were talking about something about dreams or some documentary he was watching. And I go, that reminds me. And so I tell him this, and I'm going to tell you, my partner Del can remember every detail of his dreams. He can lucid dream. I know, I've been with him for over 15 years. He has gone to bed and woken up like with handprints on him, with bruises, with all kinds of stuff. He says what was happening, because I'm thinking like you would never, because he is allergic to the cat, but he would never talk to the cat. I never heard him yell like that ever. He says that in his dream, he was trapped in a room and all these people, like big huge guards, all had him trapped in a room and he could not move, and they were breaking his ankles with hammers, and he could barely walk the next day. His ankles were so sore,
Oh, weird.
still sore. How crazy is that?
That's the kind of stuff we live for. I mean, I don't want it to happen to me, but you know
I
what I
don't,
mean?
I
But
believe him because I have seen it. I have taken pictures of it. He has gone to, well, I'm not going to take a picture of his body, but the next morning he's got bruises on his arm, especially in our old house. It looks like a handprint grabbed him here. And I said, if you got a handprint on you, let me check the rest. And I have not released this picture to the public because it's in a private spot. But on, I think it's the left-hand side, just below where your belt would be on your backside, he has a bite mark. I took a picture of that. It is not human. There are people I have shown it to. It looks like points went in there. So I don't know what happened to him. Did he really astral travel somewhere and end up in another dimension and somebody was breaking his ankles? I don't know.
who knows? Well, I'm just really glad that wherever I'm focusing right now is pretty calm.
Yes.
So
Yes, we can program
happy.
that. I want to say something about Connie's thing here. That is so interesting because you asked about the TV show Sugar. And you said it's about aliens living among us with Colin Farrell. You know what's really interesting about Colin Farrell? I had not ever heard anything about that guy. He's in the occasional movie, and I knew he had a child, now has two. People just put out a piece on that guy. What a change in him and the beautiful things he is doing. His eldest child, James, is 18 now and has a rare syndrome called Angelman syndrome, and it's nonverbal. And the things he is doing with that, I'm glad to hear he's still working. What an incredible change. If you knew who he was back in the days of partying with Britney Spears, you heard, compared to who he is now, and it just really touched my heart. I actually saved the video clip. It was about 12,
He,
15
he,
minutes
he
long.
grew up and got out of it, is what he did.
Well, I think his child forced him to do it. His
Yeah.
child is very high special needs, very high. Hmm. So Jackie said, I seen your question, Michelle. We may get to it. Just hang on. So Jackie said, I met a man who had a metal chip implant in his wrist. I know many people. I know one that was one of my friends that in their body. The doctor removed it and sent it to the government. The guy was a jewelry maker and his creations looked like miniature universes. Well, the people I know, yeah, the chip was removed and all of a sudden it was, nobody could find it anymore. Never found out what the biopsy was or anything. It just
Yeah,
disappeared.
threw it away. His
Hmm.
creations look like miniature universes. That's cool.
Hmm.
That's
So
very cool.
I think it's awesome. I think that's incredible. I bet it's beautiful. I'm way into miniatures right now. I've been joking that people probably think I'm a freak because I'm in the toy department all the time. Because if you know me, you know I'm into resin. There has been this viral thing that has come out called Make It Miniverses. And it got pulled off the shelf a month ago. And I was wondering because it's got UV resin in there being sold as a toy for kids. And I thought there's no warnings or anything. That's dangerous. So now they've remarketed. But I don't know how you're selling this. They now have one out. It comes in a little ball. And when you open it up, there's a theme to make a whole project. They have an adult one out there right now for bar drinks, like every drink you could think of, and they're little miniatures. They have Lord of the Rings coming out next Thursday. with the molds to make all the super cool gear from Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter potions. I'm telling you, I'm addicted to this. I wanted to share Connie's. She shared this. I have had dreams about alien ships hovering over my home many times over the years, and everyone around is screaming and running to hide. Now that is interesting because the alien story I was sharing with you that I watched today, they
Mhm.
said that the husband and wife that eventually went back and got abducted, when they came back, they said their memories were not wiped because this race that they were dealing with wants the human race to learn how to not be afraid of them because their plan is to eventually say, hey, everybody, we're here. I thought
Yeah,
that was interesting.
that's good with the dream. And then like what Lorilei said, I'm a strong believer in the reason that they're not showing up is because people still have a fear. So, but did you ever stop to think though, Contessa, about if it's a dream, because it's your dream, and I can only tell you what something means, but the interpretation has to be by yourself, that there is a definite UFO interpretation in dreaming, and it has the ship kind of it's kind of it's about it's hidden aspects of yourself. That's what the ship would mean in that dream. Like it's a hidden aspect of yourself, and the people running and screaming is your internal struggle against wanting to deal with something. That's just a dream interpretation. And I'm not saying that's the right one. There's literally 30 million of them for
But
UFO.
you could also be visiting an altered past life, a future life, an alternative dimension of yourself, maybe experiencing it. And like David had said, in another dimension, you didn't come out of your NDE. There's many reasons. I agree with that. I had a specialist, somebody that does dreams, and had written about it a couple of years ago, and I love what she suggested. The best person to interpret your dream, and David is very right about
Yeah,
what he said if you were going to go to a dream interpreter. But her name was Dulcie. I'm forgetting what her last name is. She's from the UK. And the best thing you can do is have a notebook by your bedside. Anybody
I
wanting
read
to
it.
do dream
Mhm.
interpretation. When you wake up, you don't have to write an essay, but before your feet hit the ground, jot down what you've been dreaming about because you're the one experiencing it. You know what you're going through in life.
Yeah.
And there's many different types of dreams, like David said. Some of them are predictive. Some of them, it's your subconscious sorting out the events of the day and projecting to you, maybe this needs some attention in your life. That's where the symbology comes through.
Yeah, it could
But
be anything.
I was going to say though, what she's found is by keeping notes, when you go back over, say, a couple months, you're going to start to see if this is telling a story or what's coming out, and you will best be able to interpret that
Oh
because
yeah,
you're
I've been
the
trying to get. I do the same thing. I've been telling people about dream journaling forever. Just go write down anything that comes up, not just what you see, what you feel, what you smelled, what you heard with their colors. Just jot it down and don't read it for 2 weeks, and then go back and you'll find out there usually is a story.
Well, this is an interesting comment. Contessa says, I'm not, or Connie says, I'm not scared of the aliens in my dreams, but everyone else is. So this is interesting, Nicole. She said, I had a small cyst on the back of my ear. I had to have it removed. My husband joked it was my tracker from the ETs. You say you've had less ET dreams and experiences since it was removed.
Interesting.
But then Nicole says, I dream about seeing ET ships, multiple moons, and the sky changing colors many times.
Yeah,
Interesting.
everybody, guys got to remember, and we tell this to people all the time. Whether you think this or not, you're all psychic, and you are all plugged into the same information we
Yeah,
are. It's
yeah.
just it's just what you are going to allow yourself to remember of yourself, or if you're going to have that connection. We have chose through various things that happened to us that said we want to keep that connection. So we do, and that's why we get that information. But everybody else can do it too. It's
Yeah.
like muscle. It's working out. It's learning how to do something. It's a talent that is there from birth, but you have to nurture that talent. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen from it. You also have to be freely open to it too. I can tell you, the worst thing I always find, Lorilei, when people have a problem with spirituality is because they still have these old belief systems telling them that everything is wrong. or that
Well,
everything is
that
beautiful.
as well as some of the things I've taught some of my students is why can't I hear spirit? Why can't I see it? And
Yeah.
I've had the conversation with them. Are you really open to hearing and seeing? Because what would happen if you actually heard, say, a voice outside your ear or a voice within the mind space, or you saw an actual body in front of you? Because some people see spirit completely
It's
solid,
completely,
depending on
yeah.
how they show. What would you do? I have had people, now it doesn't always happen, but sometimes I've had few people that do mediumship that a soul will show up hasn't crossed over yet. Say they're dealing with the paranormal, they're still earthbound. They don't maybe know they've passed, and you see some as they've passed. You see what they look like when they pass. Are you ready for something like that?
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, that's a very good truth that you just said, and it is all about because I grew up. I can hear them perfectly outside my head, like when they did stuff around the house, and I've seen a couple real time apparitions of people right in front of me that was real. But you want to know something? Every time we think that, oh yeah, that's cool, I want to see that. No, when you see it, it's different. If they
It'll
knew
freak you out.
yeah, I've had something come to materialize in front of me, kind of when I was like doing a reading or something, and then if I went like that, right away they disappear. They're like, we don't want to scare you. So
that's
a
what I
lot of
always
times
tell people when they'll say, I've got activity in my home, is it my loved one? First thing I ask them is, was your loved one a jokester, would do things like this to try and scare you? No, then it's not your loved one. Okay, it's not necessarily paranormal too, but my point is, it's not your loved ones. Your loved ones are not going to try and scare you if they were never that type of person in life.
Yeah, even like my brother wouldn't open this door all of a sudden and go, "Hi, Dave." I mean, although it wouldn't scare me, but I would go like, what, really? But it is true. If the other side, our natural state, and this is what I find to be very true, and this is what they always tell me, and it told me there, our natural state is not negative. Our natural state is literally like perfection.
Look at a child. That's your natural state. Before they've been corrupted by school and TV and everything else, children are pure love. They live in now. They live in joy. Their work is play. We are meant to live abundance. We are meant to live all these things, but we're also here to experience in our souls to learn and grow, I believe.
Yeah, because me, it's all about forgetting yourself so you can see who you are from another point of view. Because the more you know about, I mean, it's easy. I always have been people say, why can't we just remember everything when we come here? It would defeat there'd be no need to come here then. You
got all the cheat codes. Do you really want to come? Do you really want to play the game?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who wants it's like Candy Crush. If you're playing Candy Crush and somebody gave you $30 million so you could buy as many lives and as many things as you wanted, why would you bother playing it?
Well, it's fun for about the first half hour, and then it gets really boring. So this is interesting points, and we're going to go down the rest of your comments, and we love your interaction. So thank you. So Connie said, I actually voice record my dreams on my phone recorder all the time. I love that because then you can go back and take a look.
But to anybody listening, trust me when I say, don't just look at the dream as what happened. Like if you have a dream where there was a clown with cotton candy and you were sailing on the ocean, drinking tea with an elephant or whatever, if that's it, there's way more to that dream than just the visuals. Always remember, I always tell, it takes a long time to train yourself. I always ask myself how I felt. So I do that all the time. Like when I have a weird dream and when I wake up, I'm like, oh, that was weird. I'm like, okay, how did I feel though? Did it scare me? Or was it just fascinating? You know what I mean? It kind of gives you that edge over
to weird.
Or weird. Yeah. Or maybe that was just a release dream and my brain's going, I got to dump all this crap. Okay. Don't mind me. Because that does happen, you guys. You got to remember that there are stuff, it's called a release dream, where there's so much going on, your brain just needs to purge it out. So it kind of is your dream.
Your subconscious files everything.
Yeah, it just files it.
Like you said, I love that you called it a purge dream, or they sometimes call it a garbage dream.
A garbage dream,
taking all the garbage and just purging it out into a dream to get rid of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and like Julie Jean Bassett says, dreams are often symbolic, and that's what they are. A lot of them are symbolic. Some are just metaphorical because it's the only way you're going to understand it.
But the other thing I want to add, And it's the same thing with crystals. It's the same thing with anything. Okay. Somebody has either channeled that information or has learned it or it's been passed on. So just you can use that as a guideline and take a look at it and start your learning process. But this is all about your experience. Like maybe somebody's going to tell you that pink quartz, it's all love and it's power and positive, and it is. But maybe you get something else off of it, for example, with a crystal, and that's okay because that's your experience. As long as you're not hurting somebody else and say it's making you feel positive in a different way. Or the same thing with dreams, especially with dreams. I can tell you, I got about 10 books on dream interpretation, and none of them agree on anything. Everybody says it's this, and it's this, and it's this, and it's this, and it's this. So that's why you're the best person to especially interpret a dream, because you're the one experiencing it and you know what's going on in your life.
I had asked my father. He's a very wonderful, sweet person. He's never done anything bad, but he gets nightmares all the time. And I asked him, I'm like, where do you get nightmares from? He's like, I don't know. He goes, I was with my mom said he moves in bed. So I thought I'm going to ask my guides one day, do you know when my father's getting nightmares? And you want to know what I heard back?
What?
Literally, it's not my business. And I'm
I
like,
have nightmares. I was just talking to Leanne about that ever since my old house. And they're not the same type, but I do have a lot. And I think I get glimpses of stuff, whether it's another dimension, potentialities for different futures and what. It doesn't scare me, but like, or I've not a crier, and I've woken up literally crying. It's not because something's happened to somebody I love or whatever. And the way I am, I'll check in with my guides. I need to write this down. No. So maybe it's even a purging dream. I don't know. But it is what it is, right? Dreams are fascinating. That's why they've been talked about for thousands of
forever.
years.
Yeah, they still don't know everything behind them. I mean, we know what we hear from our guides about certain aspects, but there's the funny thing, there's some million different ways of everything. That's the crazy.
Oh, well, like Julie added, there is a shamanic method to help people interpret their dreams. It's really cool, and I have learned so much the very few times that I've tried to interpret my dreams. So, you guys, if you want, check out Julie Jean Bassett. I've taken her animal communication course. I've had sessions with her. She's fantastic. She's powerful. All of us are that do this work. You are too. Okay, we're all here to have many different experiences. Julie also said, I've helped people interpret their dreams using the technique. Jackie Lane, I think this is important, said some dreams allow for visitations from spirits. I agree. Absolutely. There was a comment here that I think is important. We haven't got a lot of time left, guys. I'm sorry with the audio issues, but we got about just under 10 minutes. So Leslie 1266 says, when I try too hard to hear the messages, meaning from the other side or from spirit, it blocks the message. What spirit has shown me is that this ability is meant to flow effortlessly and like water. And what I mean by that is, and we've all seen people, if we've taken courses or anything, people that want it so badly and they're really trying to force it, it just doesn't seem to come. You have to just relax and be open to it. And the only person you need to compare yourself to is yourself. Yeah. If you can do the same or try maybe for better, if not, be open to it. Okay, it will come. Maybe it's going to come a different way than what maybe you're looking at what other people are doing. I know you got tons to add to that too, Dave. So,
are you talking about when you want to hear the message of blocks? Are you talking about messages from dreams or messages?
No, it was bad. She was commenting actually, and we were talking about communicating with the other side.
Oh, communicating with the other side. Yeah, it is. Lorilei is correct. I agree with that aspect because I tell you, I'll have days where. First, let me guys tell you this. If you ever heard of being in the zone, like if you're crafting, you're doing that and you're just totally concentrating. Being in the zone is a natural state. It's a natural state, that focus. Sometimes I think with communication, I find that when I do sitting in the power before my readings, I'll do sitting in the power and all that, and then I'll dance around the room, whatever, and then I get on here. I find if I just allow myself to move out of the way and just start doing it, everything will flow in. Everything flows. You don't have to stop it.
No, but for somebody trying to learn to trust and things like that, you also have to be.
You got to trust it.
But if you can, because you got to build that trust, right? So some of the things that can help you is to make sure that you are grounded before you try to connect. Make sure that if you can, connect yourself through the energy centers or the chakras. There's lots of good meditations out there, even
Yeah.
on YouTube for free. Okay. Trying to start practicing your thoughts, your words, and your emotions are powerful. So even if you tend to be more negative, right? You could stop
Yeah.
yourself when you catch that negativity, working on inner healing, right? All of these things that you will. I used to hate this years ago, hearing it. You got to raise your vibration. Like attracts like energy too. These things will all help. The practice of meditation. And
Yeah.
once you start to, and you incorporate all these little changes, make sure you drink enough water too, because we are all water. These little tricks, and just relax and know that you've got this, and you do. Because you can take a look at any little kid. It's one of the first things I ask, even with paranormal, do you have pets or animals? We've all been babies and we've all been little kids. We've all been able to do this, right? And
Yeah.
like David said, either you choose to hang on to it or
Or you
you'll
don't.
kind of, it goes in the background. You can bring it
Yeah.
back, like riding a bike.
Another thing you could do, I can't remember. I wanted to get Henry's question up here because I know what Henry means.
You want to read it, Dave?
Yeah, Henry says, my opinion and self-perception of dreams is only
Yeah.
way others will always mislead by their own beliefs or opinions. That if you're saying what I think you're saying, and this is why Lorilei and I always stress to people, you are the best person in the entire world to interpret your dreams, because like we said, depending on the practitioner, though, it does depend on the practitioner. If like there's like a Julie Jean Bassett or a me or a Lorilei, we're not going to interpret your dream based off our beliefs. We're going to interpret the dream just based off a sense that if we walked into it and asked the spirit, hey, was there meaning behind this or blah, 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 and then start asking you, hey, does this make sense to you?
Hi, Matt.
Does this make sense to you? But yeah, I do know what you mean, Henry, if that's what you're telling me. I agree with you. I mean, it's even being a medium, we have to tell people, me and Lorilei could probably do the same, like one person could get a mediumship from Lorilei and from me.
They'll be
the same
different.
person could come through, but Lorilei is going to automatically pick up on a certain part that, because they have to go through us and go through our memories and our experience, and that's what it's going to be based off of. So it might be a similar reading, but there's going to be differences automatically.
Dave and I do readings, and poor Dave, he does send me messages. I just been insanely busy, but Dave and I do on his TikTok. We'll go live and do readings, and we tag team off each other, or he'll say, hey, I want to add something to that, or I'll want to. We work very well together, but he is right, because we're two different people with two different experiences, and the way we pick up on energy is going to be different.
Yeah, it's going to be different. It's the nature. That's why we always say mediumship is very personal to every person. And listen, I was on Audible. I read this book by this one medium who is, good guy, but he was explaining to people how to be a medium. And I was enjoying his book, except for the fact that he really was you could tell that the ego was there when he wrote that book. It was there. But then he was telling people, oh, if you don't go to Arthur Findlay College in England, then you're just not a true medium. I'm like, you put that in you put that in your book? Oh my God, are you freaking kidding me? So you guys know self-taught mediums can be just as good, if not better, than people who have studied for 1 billion years. Even there are people who said, oh, it's in my family gene and everybody's a medium. So what? Maybe it's going to skip a generation on you. You don't know.
If you feel called to find out more about it,
then you do it.
And you look into it. And we always tell you, both of us do, and we strongly believe it, work with a variety of different teachers.
Yeah, it's very important. Yes.
You'll get a much more well-rounded experience. David, you've got a course coming up. I'm working on a course that's coming up. Hopefully, I'm looking at October sometime. But work with a variety of different people. There's nothing wrong with going to one mentor, but you just get that one mentor's perceptions and perspective, just like we said about the mediumship.
Yeah, I would tell people, when you're a medium and you stick with just one teacher, you end up being a medium just like them. And granted, that might be good and you might be getting stuff, but can you imagine if you were a medium like you should be? Because there might be other information that you're missing because you're just blowing it off because you're trying to just be this person.
And I think you develop into who you are meant to be when you work with a variety of different people and you take what resonates with you and leave the rest versus one person's perspective. Julie says that, oh, sorry. Oh, I shut my camera off. I meant to hit Julie's comment, and then we gotta go, you guys. I'm so
Oh, yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
This went by so fast. So Julie says, most definitely learn from multiple people that you resonate with. I do want to add this because this is a beautiful thing Connie shared. She said, last week I had a dream with my mom and dad, and I know both your parents have passed, and I'm sorry for your loss or anybody else that has experienced a loss. And she says, it was the first dream I heard my dad speak to me. All he told me was that the other side is not what we are taught to believe. It's very different.
Yeah.
And I'm glad he came through for you. And I know he's going to more in the future. I think he knows you're going to figure out what that means, Connie. And I'll leave you with that.
And that's awesome. Real quickly, I'm going to quick add. One of my best friends years ago, back in the early 90s, died, and I didn't hear from him for a while. And then one night he came to me and he said to me, pray to change, which he meant I can change my life. He was telling me that. But I remember asking him straight out, I said, Dan, what's heaven like? And he said, it's one big hug all the time.
Oh.
And I went, oh my God, that's perfect. And even since then, and even my NDE, that's how I think of it. It's like a hug all the time. There's no fear of anything. It's just wonderful.
That was beautiful, Dave. That was a good way to share it. Okay, you want to tell how to get a hold of you? I'm sorry, guys, we're shorter tonight, but at least you could hear us.
Yep. So if you would like to know more about me, get a reading, psychic reading, mediumship reading, whatever, the only way you can get one for me is to go to theywhispertome.com, or you can go to my link tree in my TikTok or Instagram at Medium David Hanzel. No dots, no dashes, no numbers. I will never, ever, and neither will Lorilei, private message you to solicit readings. Those are fake people. Please join our group, The Thing at the Foot of the Bed, on Facebook, and subscribe to the Spirit Experience, which is mine. Go ahead, Lorilei.
So if you guys enjoyed what you're seeing tonight, please stay tuned for the second night of the Outer Realm with the amazing Michelle DeRoger and Amelia Pisano. They're coming up right next after this. Thank you all for being here. You guys make this show, okay?
Great questions.
We do, and we plant shows, and wherever you guys want to go, we go. And you guys have such great feedback, great questions, great comments. So thank you. You make this show what it is. So if you ever want to get a hold of me, get a hold of me on facebook.com/The Angel Rock right now, or any social media platform under Lorilei Potvin or The Angel Rock. Fastest and quickest way to get a hold of me is on Messenger. I am working on my website, but I'm trying to put everything in one space with the course I got coming up, the resin stuff, the whole bit. So I'm working on that, you guys. It's going to be under a domain name. What else? I've got 2 groups on Facebook: Paranormal University for all things paranormal, Angel Rocker Tribe for all things spiritual. And then don't forget, if you will, we'd love to have you once we get to 200 on The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with Lorilei Potvin and David Hanzel, the group on Facebook. Dave and I are going to start going live, maybe doing 1-question readings or whatever from time to time. We'd love to have you join us there. For those of you listening, that's how you'll get to see some of the links and things that we talked about tonight. Don't forget, you guys, you can share your thoughts, your questions, show ideas, pictures, videos, whatever. It's a safe space, and we'd love to see your interaction in the group. Don't forget to tune into the Angel Rock on Monday night. I think Rhonda is coming on. I didn't get a chance to check, but I think she's coming on from the Orion Effect. And that's 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Otherwise, Dave and I'll be back next week.
Yep.
Same time, same space.
All right, you guys, stay spooky. And what's at the foot of your bed?
Are we ready? Are we going to do it together?
Let's try it again. I just did it without you. Let's do it again.
I know.
1, 2, 3.
What's at the foot of your bed? That was close. It was close. It was close, Dave. It was close.
We're still combobulated from the beginning of the show.
That's right. We love you all. Don't forget to manifest. Powerful time right now, guys. What you want. We love you all.
Lionsgate 888.